Why do African parents think trauma builds character?
Because they call it discipline, not trauma.
This is the generational gap unfiltered.
Where we have the conversations African families don't usually have out loud.
Culture, identity,
and the truth in between. A couple like there's some parents that they take it too far, and then it becomes something that they build in their child. And especially if you're not an only child, if you're a child that's like got siblings and stuff,
yeah,
I feel like sometimes your generation don't know how to hide the fact you've got favourites. It's calm that you've got favourites. Why are you showing your youths? Do you get? And then you grow up being like, oh yeah, that's mum's favourite. Oh yeah, that's dad's favourite. You don't normally have resent towards a child, but you more have resent towards the parents, because now it's like, okay, you have favourites. Do you get? It's not so much as I don't think your generation know how to discipline. I think that's the issue.
We don't know how to discipline.
I don't think you guys know how to
yeah, no, you're going to explain.
Only because, when it comes to physical discipline, that one's character building 100%. Everyone needs to get thumped every now and again.
When you say thump now, they're going to think that. They're going to think that you carry,
not like
you take a piston, you boom, boom.
Not thumped, innit? But like, it's like if your youth puts their hand near fire, obviously naturally you're gonna do one of these, and you're gonna say that because if they put their hand in the fire, it's gonna hurt a lot more than that. Cool.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I'm saying? Things like that are character building. These times when you're doing your arms in the air and having to kneel down, character building. But it's now when there's certain things that a lot of parents say that now that's what builds the trauma. It's not ever the physical. I mean, I can't speak for everyone in it, but it's not always the physical. Do you know what I mean? It's not always the physical.
So, you mentioned like it's not always the physical. Sometimes it comes from like the mental aspects, and it comes from what the parents are saying. I would say for myself, the way I was raised, we do not take what our parents say to us to heart. This is where I said there's a difference in terms of sensitivity with the two generations. My generation, your mom can say something that your generation will see as the whole world has ended, or your dad can say something, but at that time he is angry at what you've done, and maybe he's called you a name, or maybe he said something that relates to what you're doing, but that name to you in my time, not your time, in my time, we do not take that name a step further than what is being said there. But I think with your generation, I think there's too much time in your generation hands to overthink things. Your generation is a generation of overthinkers. Oversensitivity. I think it came with your generation.
No, but see, now the fact that you said that when you're growing up, if your parents say something to you, then you're not gonna look at it beyond what's been said. Yeah. That itself, it's not to say that like your parents are wrong for saying those things, but it shows how much you've been desensitized, because it's not just you, it's everyone around you. And you've got to deep it. When it comes to African households, in the UK, it's completely different when you're in Nigeria, because everyone's African. Everyone's household is African. Whereas in the UK, not everyone's household is African. You've got Asian, you've got white, you've got black, you've got everyone. Do you get? And everyone's standards are different. Deep it. This country is run by white people. Do you know what I mean? They've already set the standard. They've already set the standard. Okay, this is how parenting should be. This is how it should be. This is how it should be. Obviously, when you're an immigrant coming to this country and you've had children here, most of the time you're just not gonna really abide by what the government say, because you already know how you were raised in whatever country you were raised. You came here, decided you want to make a better life for your children.
Yeah.
In order to do that, you don't want your children to now get used to how the government do it here, because you look at some of the children that are born and raised here and their whole generation has been here, and all of them end out on the road, come like nitties. So obviously you look at that, you don't want your children to be like that. However, in that itself, yeah, by you saying now, oh, when we were growing up, you've now brought your child to another country where that isn't accepted. Because when your child is growing up, they spend very little time at home. Genuinely, you're realistically, you're spending about 3 hours at home every day, apart takeaway sleeping. Weekend. Do you know what I'm saying? And then weekends, because they're going to school, they're coming home. They're going to school, they're coming home. Do you get? And that's until you're like 18. Then you go off to uni. It's your decision if you want to go to uni or not. That's when education doesn't become, you don't have to do it anymore. But until you're 18, you have to. So you're seeing things outside. You're seeing how other people are being raised, seeing how other families are being affected by some, and also you're seeing your fellow people that are also being kind of brought up in the same household you are, and you man are relating. Yeah, this happened to me. This happened to me. Once you start growing, you're gonna grow resentment, and especially towards daughters and their mothers when it comes to these households. I don't ever see really people having issues with their fathers, either because they're not there or they just don't have problems generally. But you can now, it becomes a community of people where you can be like, oh, when I was growing up, my parent did this to me, my parent did that to me. But over time, it's gonna start being like, bro, there's some things that I should have never got told off for. There's some things that should have never have been said to me. I should have never been punished for it. That's when you now start growing resentment. That's why it's always important to have these conversations with your family and your parents to be like, oh, when you did it, it was younger. But then when you now go to them, so you're holding grudge for me since that time. You're holding grudge. I'm not holding a grudge, but it's like, you know, the ones where you're still thinking about it, and it's like, I don't like how you did that and it affects me in day-to-day life. Whereas you, man, you have to get over that thing that second. You have to get over it that second because you're being told you have to.
I don't think we're necessarily told we have to. I think there was a significance to what the actual problem is when things happen. That's I think, how would I put it? We were able to pick what's important. So now, if a child has gone out at a very unreasonable time, and you know it's unsafe outside, and you're sick, worried to death, and the child finally come home. Say, for instance, you come home, and maybe the child gets 1 or 2 smacks here and there, and then you say, you are coming home at this time like an armed robber, right? Because if you look at the time the child has come, it's synonymous with people going out to rob. It's around that time. So he coming at that time, he's giving himself that image. And so when you're saying it, you're not saying it because you want to enjoy his ego or enjoy his mental health or do anything to his sensitivity. It's like an indirect scolding. Like, if you continue doing this is what you will become. So we know how to choose what's important. So at that moment we are thinking, oh, I shouldn't have come home this time. It's wrong for me to come home. He or she was worried about me. And truly, I'm at this time. These are the time where people that actually rob and do stuff, these are the time they are outside. So no decent person should be outside. You see, we are able to think of the message itself rather than taking it, as you say, rather than deeping it. When we now deep it, we now start digging a hole for ourselves and digging a grave for ourselves, and now create a feeling, a neurotic feeling most of the time, because that's what overthinkers do. You not think of something so much, it not start making you feel neurotic feelings, negative feelings, and that negative feelings now create grudge in your heart. You might say, oh, it's not grudge, but for something to stay in your heart so long, no, then that one is grudge.
No, if I hold a grudge against someone, I will not talk to you because of that thing you did that time. Every time I speak to you, I'm gonna speak to you in a type of way because I'm holding a grudge. It's not a grudge. It's more of a thing of like, okay, I remember that, but at the end of the day, that is my mom, that is my dad, so I'm gonna keep it pushing. But there always comes a time where it gets revisited, or sometimes it doesn't, and then it grows within you. Or some people carry it and say, I'm not going to do that to my youth. Do you get? I'm not going to say those things to my youth because I know how much it hurt me. And also, that one, yeah, oh, you're going in the night like an armed robber. See, this is what I mean about your creative.
Yeah, because why would you be outside the same time?
And I'm robber. See, that one's jokes though. Like, I find that quite funny. Obviously, if I was the person being told that, I'm not finding it funny at all. However, I'm not the person, so
yeah. but when you look at it from outside, being the person, you can see that it's not said. But because I will say this: no parent is perfect. There is no handbook to being a parent. Regardless of what the Western world will say, oh, you need to do this certain way because this might be why the child, all those are guessing game. There is no book that describes how any child should be raised. Most of us parents, as we go with children, as they grow, we are learning as we are going. There's a lot of trials and error, and we correct ourselves and we try not to do it again. That's what I would say for myself personally as a parent. If I do something and see it didn't work out well for the child, or it has made the child get in a certain state, I know, okay, this thing has affected this child in one way or the other. I speak to myself, I advise myself, and I know how to do things differently for my child that the child can actually feel. That's what I feel personally. However, I still think your generation.
Do you think You see, this is what I'm saying. Do you think parents should apologize to their children?
100%. But when I was growing up,
no one apologized to you, though.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? Which time to apologize to you?
This time.
That is, see, let me tell you something. I think that is why we are very resilient.
It's not resilient. I'm telling you, it's not.
But if we look at it, I think the most resilient generation will end in my generation.
100%. No, dragging
it. No, not dragging. Absolutely, you know what I'm saying? Because if your so-called mental health is in dire and destroyed by so much deep in it, so much overthinking, so much sensitivity, what can you actually face in life and succeed?
No, see, this is the issue. I always say this: your struggles and our struggles are way different. You guys will never but the issue, the thing is, we can understand your struggle. That's the thing. We genuinely can understand your struggle, and that's what draws us. We can genuinely look at our parents and say, "Nah, like my parents came here, they wanted to get me a better life. This is another." Or they can recognize when they're failing, and they can recognize when, oh, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. We actually recognize what you went through. Do you get? And we talk about it amongst our peers who are also kind of in the same situation.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, oh, you know, my parent had to do this to get here and this, that, no. It's something that forms community. We become almost bond over it.
Yeah.
You man don't want to understand us. That's the issue. Because why? Because when you were growing, nobody understood you. No one understood you. There was no time for understanding. There was no time for understanding that when you're upset, because why are you being upset over that? Is there not bigger issues at hand? No one understood you, and that's the issue. No, you were not understood, and that's why you guys find it difficult to understand us, but yet we still understand you. The struggles we face are way different to you, man.
But I think that is one reason why we're here, so we can bridge the gap. So I think you guys are too sensitive. You guys overthink, and it's affecting your mental health and resilience. You think that is because we never had the space to think, to feel, or understood. Okay. Now, it brings me to the questions. How do you think my generation can begin to understand your generation more? And how do you think your generation can begin to understand why my generation think the way they do?
Difficult conversations. You have to have difficult conversations. I feel like parents are so scared to have these difficult and heartfelt conversations with their children. So it's like, oh my God, what do you mean I have to have a heartfelt conversation with my parent? Or what do you mean I have to have a heartfelt conversation with my child? Oh my God, there's no way I'm doing it. Like, that's what you man think. And also, I don't think it's entirely you man's fault. I think it's because you don't know what it feels like to have a heartfelt conversation. And I feel like as well,
from a parent to a child.
Yeah, and child to a parent. Because I feel like generally people find it hard to say when they're wrong. Generally, like they don't like to say when they're wrong, and also because, like now, who really says sorry to you when you're growing up? If someone did something, like if an adult did something to you, and you were very upset about it, who's gonna come and tell you sorry? No one's gonna tell you sorry.
They say sorry, but in a very covert
way. Do you want food? Do you want something?
They'll say, they'll be like, that's more slap I give you. Now you see the verse for them.
See what I'm saying?
So they basically say,
but that's not an apology.
The little tap I gave you, and you still